All right, you guys, let's go to page 97 in grammar, 97. Okay. All right, 97, talking about adjectives. You guys know about those already. So getting a little deeper into these lessons, an adjective describes a noun. That's their job. That's what they do. They modify a noun or tell more about it. So we just talked about that. It says often two or more adjectives come before a noun. The adjectives are cumulative. So if the first adjective describes the second adjective and the noun that follows, cumulative adjectives follow this specific order. And we're going to watch a little video in a minute about this, but there is an order to this madness. This is English. You know, English is tricky and it's one of the most difficult languages to learn. But here you go. This is how we order adjectives. Quantity, that means like how many. Quantity, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. These are the order. This is the order of how we list adjectives when we're talking about a noun. And the video I'll show you after this page, but the next thing we're going to talk about, though, is the comma rule. Because cumulative adjectives must be arranged in a specific order, the adjectives are not separated with a comma. So because these are in order, hold on, I got to turn off my Bluetooth. Turn that off. There we go. Okay. You don't need commas. And it says two tests help determine whether the adjectives before a noun are cumulative. Can you reverse their order? That's a test. We'll do that in a second. Can you add and between them? If you answer no, the adjectives are cumulative. Do not use a comma. So look at the example. They sought shade from the blazing summer sun. The two adjectives are blazing and summer. They describe the noun sun. They are cumulative. Oh, it says, are they cumulative adjectives? Do they need a comma? So here's the test. Reverse the order. How does this sound? The summer blazing sun. No, you cannot reverse the order. That sounds weird. The summer blazing sun? The blazing summer sun sounds better. Can you add and between the adjectives? The blazing and summer sun. No, that doesn't work either. So because the answer is no to those, that means they are cumulative and you don't need a comma. So you're going to have to remember those tests when you see those adjectives more than one in a row. See if you can reverse them. That's probably the easiest one. Can you reverse it? How does that sound? And you guys have been speaking English your whole life, which is long enough to hear whether it sounds good or not. So that's what you're going to go by, how it sounds, because you've been speaking it long enough, you know. The next example here, they sought shade from the blazing summer sun. There it is again. Blazing and summer are cumulative. Do not separate with a comma. Look at the last example down here. The brilliant full moon lit the jungle. Try your test, see if you can reverse it. If I say the full brilliant moon lit the jungle, that doesn't really go. Doesn't really sound right. The brilliant full moon. So we don't need a comma there, basically. Okay, so let me show you a quick video. This is Khan Academy. I think a lot of you know about Khan Academy. And I like this guy. I like his style of teaching. But he's going to actually describe it a little more visual for you. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. So that hopefully this will make a little bit better sense here.
So, grammarians, if you're a native English speaker, the phrase French old white house might seem a little weird to you. If you're not a native English speaker, it might not. And this is something that I didn't really know about before I started preparing to teach this course, is that there is a specific order that adjectives go in English. This is something that I think we just pick up as English speakers, but if you didn't grow up speaking English, it gets a little tricky sometimes. So the question is, in order to make this seem right, what order do you put these adjectives in? I'm as near about as I can reckon it. Making this into the old white French house. Because there is an order and it goes like this. Determiner, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. Or for short, dosascomp. Dosascomp. Oh, okay. That's actually kind of a thing. So a dosa is a South Indian flatbread, and scomp, I'm gonna say, is a word for eating. It's not a word, that's a made-up word, but dosascomp. Sounds like scarf to me. Or chomp. And both of those are verbs that can denote eating, as well as scarf being a garment. So, dosascomp. I just want you to imagine sitting down to a delicious South Indian meal and scomping on some dosas. So, dosascomp. Determiner, and that's words like the or an. Opinion, this is, when you're describing something, there are certain descriptors that not everyone would agree with, So if you're looking at a piece of black metal, everyone will be able to agree that it is black. But if you think it's cool looking or ugly looking, anything that anyone could conceivably disagree about, that's an opinion. So, cool, for example, that would be an opinion. Size, so the cool, big, old, square, black. An origin usually can be, where it's from. So let's say Texan, and then, so we have material, so let's say leather, because leather can be black, and then purpose. This is sort of where we would use what's called a participle or a gerundive to determine what the thing is for. So if we were talking about, I don't know, a lawnmower that you ride around on, right? That's called a riding mower. Right, and the last thing here is the thing itself. So we're looking at, so this thing is the cool, big, old, square, black Texan leather riding mower. But frankly, in most normal English sentences, you're probably never going to use more than 3 adjectives to describe a given thing, like old white French house. Now, sometimes you might find yourself using more than one adjective that fits into the same category. So you might say the exciting, unparalleled green dragon. And you'll notice I put a comma there, because when you use 2 adjectives from the same category, so 2 opinions, the exciting and unparalleled, you want to separate them with a comma. But generally, if you're just scooting down the dosascomp, old white French house, you don't need to separate these non-coordinate adjectives from each other. And we'll get more into commas in the punctuation section. But for now, all you need to remember is dosascomp. And if you've never had a dosa, I strongly urge you to look up recipes online, go to a South Indian restaurant, and make and eat this delicious food. And then you're just going to scomp on some dosas. So determiner, opinion, size, age, dosa, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, and then the thing. That's the order that adjectives go in English.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there. So, interesting. Another little acronym for you to memorize. We already know like fanboys and a couple of others. This is a new one for you, dosascomp. Okay, this will help you with how to order your adjectives when you're describing something, and it'll also help you in your book here. Turn to page 98 in your grammar book. And here's a chart of those types of words. Now, the first one says quantity. And in the video, he calls this determiner. So I would just right next to it in the margin here, let's just put determiner. That is the same thing as quantity, but sometimes it can be like an article, which is a, an, or the. That's also a determiner. Here we have quantity, which is a number or several or few. But dosa scomp is what you want to remember. So in the margin here, I want you to write out dosa scomp. And that matches those letters going down: determiner, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. And you can see in this chart some examples of what each of those categories can be. I want you to skip down here to these examples. The first one says, Mowgli was a smart Indian boy. Smart comes before Indian because opinion comes before origin. So smart would be considered an opinion. And then origin is considered like where he's from. So since it's in the right order, opinion comes here, up here, O for opinion, and then origin is way down here. We don't need a comma. Look at the next one. He played with 3 funny young wolves. Quantity comes before opinion, quantity or determiner. That's like how many, okay? Comes before opinion, and opinion comes before age. So no comma there either. Remember when he said in the video, if you have 2 adjectives from the same category, that is when you need a comma. Otherwise, just check the order. You're going to need this page. So I recommend using a Post-it on this page, by the way. If you have a Post-it note handy, let's just write at the top of it here so it sticks out the page. Let's put adjectives, AGJ, and then put dosa scomp in all caps. And then I would tab this page so that when you're doing your homework and you don't remember, where does this comma go? Is it in the right order? Let me check. Well, here's your order. You can check here. Okay, so go ahead and tab this page. While you're working on that, I'm going to show you these other examples down here. This is how I like to do my tabs. Hopefully you guys are doing it the same way. So they're sticking out the top. Really easy to find these pages when you do that. ADJ, dosa scomp. I'll leave that there so you can see that. Couple more examples down here. The animals rested under the huge shade tree. Size comes before purpose. Purpose of the tree is shade. And size is huge, so that is the correct order there. The last example, they found a wide wooden canoe paddle. Shape, the word wide is part of shape, comes before material, and material comes before purpose. This is the order up here in these categories of adjectives. And then don't forget the test we talked about on the other page. If you can reverse it or add and, then you do need a comma. But if you can't reverse it, if it sounds funny, then no comma. Keep it the way it is, no comma. Any questions so far about adjectives like we've been talking about this morning? You guys are good. Okay, let's turn to 99. Hey, we're almost to 100. Woohoo! We are making it through this book. Anybody feel like reading the sentence today? Thank you, Kylie.
As the cool morning mist appeared, Mowgli saw that a child entered the hut. The young boy grabs a pot, places 6 black lumps in it, and leaves to milk the cows.
Okay, good. A lot going on in that sentence. So good job reading that. Vocabulary is mist. You guys pretty much know what mist is. It's like a haze or a fog. You know how it's kind of wet outside. It's not really raining, but it's just wet. That happens a lot when you're in the jungle or in a forest. So mist. Check vocabulary. There's one. Oh, let's see. We're going to just dive right in here to prepositional phrases. Anybody see one in there? I know Kylie does. That's good. Go ahead and start, Kylie. Where is that prepositional phrase?
In it.
In it. That's it. In it. So the preposition is in, and in it is the phrase. That's good. You found that quick. If you get stuck on that, if anybody's doing their homework and they get stuck on that, skip it, come back to it, okay? By the way, just another friendly reminder, when you guys sit down to do your homework, make sure you read the sentence first. Don't just dive into the list. Do like we do in class, read the sentence first. That way you get all those words in context, and that will help you find some of these parts of speech here. We have a coordinating conjunction, Jude. That's the fanboys. Do you see where the coordinating conjunction is?
It's the and, right?
Yes, and.
Okay.
Yep. You were going to explain that. Thank you. You got it. And, okay. I do like to go find those verbs and subjects first before getting into all the clauses. So I am going to skip the clauses and jump down to subject verb pairs. So Alex, how about you find the verbs, and then Matt, you can find the subject. So Alex, you go first. Tell us where the verbs are.
Appeared,
Yes.
saw,
Yes.
entered,
Entered. Good.
grabs.
Good. Except this is the wrong tense. Did you notice that when she read that, it kind of sounded weird?
Yeah.
Because we have entered. What should this be, Alex?
Grabbed.
Grabbed. We should keep it all past tense since we're talking in the past. So yes, but that is a verb. Good. Grabbed.
Leaves. Leaved.
Leaves. You're right. It's a past tense, but instead of leaved, it would be left. The tense is really, there's another word we have to change as far as the tense in here too.
Milk.
No, that's to milk. Remember, whenever we have to, that becomes an infinitive. So like to walk, to work, to run, all of that is to milk. Even though it is an action, it can be an infinitive. But there's one more. So he grabbed a pot and then places 6 black lumps in it. So that is actually going to be a verb, but it's the wrong tense. So what should that be, Alex?
Placed.
Yes, placed. That's why it's super important to read your sentence first, because place might seem like a noun to you, but if you read it, he's placing it in something, so it's an action. Okay, that's all of them. Another reminder is whenever it says 4 subject verb pairs, that means for sure there's 4 subjects, but oftentimes there's more than 4 verbs. So don't stop at 4 with the verbs. If you see more, you got to keep looking, make sure. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, even though it's 4 subject verb pairs. But there are 4 subjects. So Matt, do you know where those 4 subjects are?
Child.
Okay, child is 1.
Mowgli.
Yep, Mowgli.
Young boy.
So boy, yeah.
And cows.
No, not cows. Let's see which one you're missing here. Oh, you need a subject for appeared. What was it that appeared?
The mist.
The mist. There you go. So since this is an infinitive, to milk, we're not going to count that as a verb. So that's why cows is not the subject there. All right. Good. We've got our subject verb pairs. That's a tough one. Now I'm going to go back up to main clauses. So Aubrey, those are going to be complete thoughts. They're going to include subject verb pairs in each main clause. And you've got 2 of them here. You know what? I'm going to stop right there for a second because I'm looking at this. This is a hard one. Let's do the other clauses first. Let's do that clause. Let's look for that one. Where's the that clause?
That a child entered the hut.
There you go. Good. And then Jude, what about the adverb clause? That's the Asia word.
Asia.
Yeah, I remember those.
Is it the young boy grabs the pot or a pot?
No, it's going to start with one of the Asia words. So those words are when, while, where, as, since, if, although, because. Remember those words?
Yeah.
So it's going to start with one of those.
Is it the as in the very beginning or
Yes, that's correct. So that's the beginning of it. Do you know where
as the cool morning mist appears?
Yes, very good. Yep. You got it. So we're going to label that AC. So yeah, if that helps you with the, think of the Asia words, when, while, where, as, since, if, although, because, and go back to that tab if you need to. I know that other students are needing to check that too. So that's good to do that. Oops, we forgot to check those. Now main clauses. All right, so Kylie, the main clauses in these sentences are not going to include the phrases, or I mean the other clauses. It's going to be separate.
Mowgli saw.
Mowgli saw is one clause, main clause. Good.
And then the young boy all the way to cows.
Yep. All the way to the end. Very good. So we did not include the adverb clause and the that clause. They're separate, but they both, all of these clauses, you'll notice, have subject verb pairs. So that's why it's good to find those first. I mean, this is the adverb clause has mist appeared. The main clause has Mowgli saw. That clause has child entered. This main clause has boy grabbed, placed.
Correct.
Yeah. So check for that. We need to put some commas. We need to fix some commas in a minute, but next it says openers. So Alex, what are the two? I guess we got to define where that period goes first. So do you know we're missing a period in here, two periods actually. Do you know where the periods go, Alex?
After hut.
After hut. Very good. Right here. Where does the other one go?
At the end.
At the end. Yep. So I'm just going to check those end marks. But now that you know that, what are the two openers?
The clausal opener.
The first one is clausal. You remember what number it is?
5.
Good. That's clausal, 5.
And then subject.
And then subject. Very good. Which is number what?
Number 1.
Number 1. Good job. Subject opener and clausal opener. Indent, we're going to go down the fix it line now. So we'll just put a paragraph symbol at the beginning. It's because it's a new place and new time. Capitals, go ahead and find those by yourself. All right, we're to the commas now. There are a few rules about commas when you have all these clauses in order here. So let's see, where are we? Aubrey, do you know where the commas go in these sentences? There's one that we have to take out, and then some we have to put in. There's a rule about the first sentence. I'll help you a little bit here. Whenever an adverb clause comes before a main clause, you need a comma.
After appeared.
After appeared, very good.
After pot.
Yes, good. After pot.
And after it.
And after it.
And take out the one.
This one here after 6. Okay, good. And then, by the way, 6, whenever it's a 1-word or 2-word number, we write it out. So go ahead and write out. We're going to cross out that number 6, and we're going to write out SIX for 6. Good job, Aubrey. So we got the commas, we got the numbers, we got usages, 3 usages, and we already fixed those. They were all the wrong tense. So make sure you pay attention to that. Most of this is in past tense, okay? So make sure you're checking all those verbs, make sure they're in past tense. Awesome, good job, you guys. We're done with that. go ahead and get out your binders. You guys have been working on the Tesla report, so I have some things to talk to you about with that. So go ahead and get out everything from your binder about Tesla. I did get to grade your homework, so please make sure to take time to go look at that on Google Classroom. I put notes on there. A lot of students are still accidentally using banned words, so watch out for those banned words. Okay, and you also need to get out your big white page. Yours is already filled out. Mine is not, but oops. Okay. Talk to you about something here with your fused outline. So when you're choosing your facts, remember, just to review, A, B, C, and D, those represent the 4 articles that you have about Tesla. And then your topics here, we have a box that we listed some possible topics, and we decided you were going to choose early life and add some things about mind. I remember putting that in parentheses because it kind of goes with early life and his mind developing and then how his mind worked. So you can pull from these articles, A, B, C, D, information from only those paragraphs about his early life and about a little bit about his mind and mix that in a little bit. But here's where almost everybody's having trouble, okay? So don't feel bad if you're having trouble with this because you're not alone. A lot of students are having trouble with this, so I need to go over this again. When you pull your facts, remember your facts are underneath your topic. So here we have Nikola Tesla early life. Underneath here is where you find your facts. And that's where you're finding your keywords from those paragraphs that are interesting to you and listing them here. When you're pulling them from each source to make your fused outline, a lot of you are just putting, there's no order to how you're listing them. And it comes out a little bit choppy when you go to write your sentences from your fused outline. So for example, this is just an example. I'm not saying this is anybody's paper, but if you say Nikola was born in an electrical storm, when he was 7, his brother died. He credited his inventive abilities to his mom. He loved reading. He loved electricity. And that's the end of your paragraph. That is like great facts, but it's just almost like listing. That's what I want you to get away from. When you're pulling facts from these different sources, they need to flow and fit together as far as what are you talking about, where he was born, when he was born, his family. But a lot of you are missing like transition words in between your sentences. So it almost sounds like a list when you're reading the paragraph. So I want to share something with you really quick that I found online. I'm also going to share it on Google Classroom with your homework assignment this week. So you can use this. It's pretty cool. So these are transition words in English. So a lot of times when you're listing things, you're talking about somebody and you're telling about their qualities or about their early life, you need some of these words to make those sentences fit together. So here's each color of these represents a different style of transition words. Like if you're talking about addition, like as well as, and to, furthermore, things like that. If you're talking about, you're describing what you mean, like giving more detail about it, such as in this case, for one thing, for instance, for example, these are great, awesome ways to start sentences when you're connecting different facts, okay? I really like this illustration, this orange box right here, because you can add, even if it's not on your fused outline, you can add extra sentences. Some of you do that already, which is good, because that's going to help you make it flow better. Anybody have any questions about what I mean by flowing? When you're reading it, it's flowing. I don't see any hands going up. So I hope this makes sense to you, because one thing you could say is Nicola was born in an electrical storm. And then give a little bit more information about when he was, like, why that's important to say to the reader. Why is it important to say he was born in an electrical storm? Well, you could say something like, that is ironic because Nicola eventually later in his life was really interested in electricity. So give a little bit more. Why was he born in electric? Why would that be important to put in your paper? And then connect it to something like, oh, that's kind of cool. When the day he was born, he's a baby. He doesn't know anything, right? He's helpless. He's depending on his mother to keep him alive, right? Babies. But the fact that he was born in an electrical storm and then he became later interested in electricity, that's kind of cool. So that's what you need to tell your reader in your paragraph to connect why that fact is important. Maybe when you mentioned that when he was 7, his brother died, that was part of the tragedy that he experienced when he was a child. So you can connect that and use some of these connecting words here, like hence, that's a good one. Hence the struggle emotionally that Nicola had growing up. His brother died. I mean, anytime you have a close family member like that die, it affects people deeply. So that would be able, you would explain how that would made his early life difficult. So read my notes on the Google Classroom because I put a lot of details in there. I want you guys to really think about how this flows. And please make sure you guys read your paragraphs out loud, even if you're reading it just to yourself. I like the idea of you reading it to one of your parents or somebody in the house. But if they're all busy, nobody's available, you can grab your dog or your cat or your goldfish. Just read it out loud, okay? Because you need to hear how it sounds, and then you'll know what I mean as far as it being choppy. And I'm going to attach this list to Google Classroom so you can use this. I recommend printing it and putting it up on your wall, like tape it up on your wall or something. That would be handy to have. Okay. So back to your keyword outline. Any questions about anything I've said so far? You guys have any thoughts? Questions? Okay. Either I'm doing a fantastic job explaining it, or you guys are like, I need another cup of coffee. I don't know. It's okay. I need coffee too. So I'm not saying everybody drinks coffee, but. All right. This week, you guys are writing paragraph 2. So let's set it up on the back of this white page. Same thing. You're going to use all 4 articles. So go ahead and write those out. We're going to start with A. This is going to be Roman numeral 2 because this is your second paragraph. So let's set this up. You're going to have 1 through 5 again. Spread them out so they're not too close together. Roman numeral 2, 1 through 5. 4 and 5 are optional. By the way, I need you to not slip into the mindset of, oh, I don't have to do 4 and 5. Okay, fine. I won't do 4. I'll just do 3. That's not why we put parentheses here. We put parentheses here because you might come across something cool later after you get 3 and you're like, oh, I need to add this too. So use it. Don't just stop at 3. Use it if you see more. All right, B, same thing. Roman numeral 2 again, 1 through 5. Same with C. Go ahead and set all these up. Roman numeral 2, they're all going to be 2 because this is your second paragraph. And good news for everybody, I'm going to change this assignment to only a 2-paragraph assignment. On your checklist, you'll see 3. You're welcome, Kylie. I see that. Woohoo, you can celebrate. 2 paragraphs for this one. And then we're going to move on. So this is your last paragraph. Roman numeral 2. And I'll explain why we're only doing 2 paragraphs at the end before you go. Middle box, fused, outline, 1 through 7. I am going to make 7 mandatory though, so we're going to keep it 1 through 7. I think for the paragraph 1, I made it optional, but I do want you to have 7. I want you to find 7 details about whatever topic you choose here. And then that word clencher. Oh yeah, speaking of, I will say about half of you remembered your topic clencher. Half of you forgot. So don't ignore this little note you make for yourself right here. This is to remind you, oh yeah, my topic clencher. Plus, it's on your checklist. I cannot emphasize that checklist enough. You really need to pay attention to every detail on there because that is how I grade your work. So if you did not get a 10 on your work, that means you either used a banned word or you forgot something and you need to fix it and then turn it back in. I also made some suggestions for some of you on how you can make things flow a little better. So you might have to play with some of your sentences a little bit more to get it to sound good. Read it out loud. You can also get feedback from whoever. If you find somebody at home to read it to, you can ask them for feedback. Like, did that make sense? Did that flow? Ask those questions. This makes you a better writer. And that's the goal, right? We're improving our writing skills. There's always room for improvement. Even for me, even though I'm a teacher, I still work at improving my writing, always. There's no end to that. It's not like someday you wake up and you arrive at the ultimate excellent, superb writer, but you're getting there. It's the progress that you're getting there. Okay. Thumbs up if you got Roman numeral 2 all set. Okay, good. Flip back over to that possible topics list. Now, we did not have time to read every article, every paragraph of every article. Remember, we skimmed and we labeled and we came up with this list. So when you choose your topic, you need to go back and read those paragraphs. So let's look at what's left here. There's general. This seems kind of boring. I mean, we kind of already have his early life a little bit. So I think I'm going to not use that one because we're only making this a 2-paragraph paper. So what I want you to do is look at the topics that are left, like inventions here. We've got those in 3 different spots. We got legacy. Those are in 3 different spots. So pick your favorite topic that's left. Honestly, it would be cool if you wrote about his inventions because it seems like that is what made him who he is. And honestly, you can combine a little bit. Kylie, did you have your hand up for a second?
Yeah. So would it be okay if I did like inventions and then for D I do mystery?
For do you do what?
Mystery. I love mysteries. Sorry.
History? Do we have
No,
his?
mystery.
I don't know why I can't hear you say that.
There's like mystery in there.
Mystery. Do we have mystery written in here?
Well, I have it.
Oh, which one? And you put it under D?
Yeah. I could have put it on the wrong one.
Do you have a paragraph in that D article that says mystery?
Yeah.
Oh, does anybody else have that too? Oh, you do? No, some say yes, some say no. Okay. I'm going to put it here. And a question mark because I don't have it on mine, but if you have it, yeah, you can combine that. So I like that idea. You have inventions here in A and it's in B and it's in D. You don't have it in C, but honestly, this AC/DC power, he didn't invent it, remember, but he improved on that. So that would be great information to include for C, actually. And you can combine that in and work that in your fused outline. The AC/DC power has to do with electricity. Interesting stuff. I'm not a science person, so some of the stuff is foreign to me. I don't really understand it, but it was second nature to Tesla. He just naturally, I mean, he studied a lot too, but he naturally understood it. Okay. So that's what I recommend. If you really like the idea of his legacy, which is also kind of cool, the trouble with getting too many topics in one paragraph is exactly what you guys had trouble with the first one, making it flow. So think about logically, how would these fit together? Inventions and AC/DC power, that'll work. Those will fit. So that's what I recommend. You could start by saying something like, perhaps Tesla is best known for his inventions. There you go. That's how you can start off your paragraph, because you just introduced who he is. Anybody have any other topics they would rather do other than inventions? So we can stick with that. Oh, you have an idea, Matt?
Legacy.
His legacy. Okay. So you can fit those in. Just make sure that you include, when you do your fused outline, do the legacy at the end. It wouldn't make sense to start with his legacy and then his inventions. So if you want to include some of his legacy, do that at the end. By the way, later I realized I put NK. It should have been NT. I don't know what I was thinking here. Nikola Tesla. You probably saw that. I was like, NK. And you're like, okay, what's K for? I don't know what K was for. That was random. So it should be NT for Nikola Tesla. So you can put that on your Roman numeral 2 here. And then inventions. And you can do AC. Well, AC/DC power is only in C. So you can think of an extra word here to put about his inventions. Or just leave it inventions, basically. You're just putting your topic down so you know what you're looking for in these articles. You guys good? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. Yeah? Okay. All right. Do you need anything, Jude? Does that make sense to you, what we're doing here? You're good. Okay. Let me know. Don't feel bad, because I want to make sure you guys understand what you're working on. So I'm going to give you some time in class, a little bit of time in class to start filling these out. So for instance, you're talking about inventions. Article A, the paragraph about inventions is on page 118 on the back. This is what you would do. Go to that paragraph. You don't have to read the entire article. Go to the ones that we labeled. That's why we labeled them. So this is on the back. This is page 118. I erased mine because it's my master copy, but you should have the word inventions here. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and you guys start looking for the interesting facts. Okay, and this is what you'll be doing for B, C, and D for your homework. So it says Tesla improved on others' inventions, and some he originated. He arrived in America with 4 cents in his pocket and a letter of recommendation to the American inventor Thomas Edison. Okay, how cool is that? That's cool. 4 cents. I mean, you could probably buy a burger for 4 cents back then, or maybe, I don't know. You could buy something, but not much.
There was a video I was watching the other day, and it goes like to 1950s where McDonald's hamburgers were like 15 cents.
Crazy.
I did all the time.
Wow, I can't even imagine.
That must be when the dinosaurs were roaming the earth.
It's too expensive now. But anyway, 4 cents, 4 pennies in his pocket but the thing that made him just a legend in science was the fact that he had a letter of recommendation to the American inventor Thomas Edison. We all know Thomas Edison. Wow. He was the guy. He was the science guy. And Tesla had 4 cents and a letter. And that letter was worth, I don't even think you could put a price on that letter, because that's what made him famous, right? He connected to another legend in science and learned from him. and developed his skills. And wow, now we have cars named after him, trucks named after him, all kinds of vehicles, and power for your houses, solar. I mean, all this stuff, you see Tesla's name on a bunch of stuff now. All
Is
right.
So a Cybertruck, is it
Yeah.
even a truck? That's a question I've been wondering. Does
I have my own opinions about that.
it's like a car?
I live on a farm and we need a truck. We don't need a Tesla, a Cybertruck. That isn't going to haul hay or horses or anything else. So I don't know. It's my opinion, but
Unless it's a very small truck with like a hooded trunk thingy. But like,
It'd probably fall apart if you put any weight on it.
that's what I think too. Well, they say it's really
include it.
like sturdy, like a tank kind of,
They have
but
this video on YouTube, like a F-150 and that, and they like tow different stuff, and it just completely popped off the whole back, and all it had was like the two front wheels. Like,
I saw that same video.
okay.
I laughed so hard at that one. Weren't they like driving it through the mud and everything? They were just trying to destroy it and it just totally came apart.
It's
That's
like
a good one.
it's like they say they welded it, but they actually super glued it.
I don't know. They made it look like space age, and I think that's the main. Well, I've seen it tow stuff, but not a big old horse trailer with like 5 or 6 horses. I haven't seen that yet, but anyway.
Maybe they'll like improve on it and make it like 10 times bigger.
Yeah. And the other weird thing is, our vehicles are always dirty because we live on a farm and we're in the dirt all the time. They're always dirty. I never see a dirty Tesla. They're always like super perfect. You know what I mean? There's not a spot on them. And
Friend named Ava at my gymnastics, and she likes to get her like car dirty and stuff. So either that or she accidentally does it, but she put a sticker on the back saying "Wash me."
that's cool. We used to do that. We used to write it with our finger in the dirt, wash me. All right, I'm going to keep going here. Edison hired Tesla. There you go. That's all he needed was 4 cents in a letter, and he got hired by Thomas Edison himself. Edison believed that direct current, DC electricity, was the future. He was not interested in AC electricity. Tesla resigned. Okay, so he stopped. Tesla neither discovered AC power nor conceived of the induction motor. However, okay, it's kind of like, where are they going with this? Because it sounds like he quit. However, by the end of 1888, Tesla did gain the patent on an AC induction motor. So he wasn't interested in it, but then later he actually came up with an invention or a patent. And a patent is when you put your name on it, when it's yours that you invent. You get I forget all the business terms for it, but you get a portion of the money as it sells because you own the patent on it. Anybody interested in business like that? Business stuff? I've never really been interested in business, so I'm not really clear on how the process goes, but I do know, like sometimes I watch Shark Tank. Have you guys ever seen that show, Shark Tank? It's a show where they have these like multi-billion-dollar business owners that listen to the average person. Like if you come up with some robot that does dishes for you, you take it to them on this show and you like demonstrate how to use it. And if they like it and they think it's going to sell, then they'll offer you money to do it, but then they want a portion of your profit from it. So it's interesting.
I know a little bit of it. I know like movie projections and stuff for like songwriting. Like the person who writes the song, but the person who sings it, the person who sings the song will have to give a portion of the money to the song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, you're right.
A little bit of that.
You should check with your parents and see if they'll let you watch Shark Tank. It's like a reality show and it's family friendly, but it's really interesting some of the stuff people come up with and how they do business. So if you're interested, like this type of stuff, inventing stuff, check it out. Called Shark Tank. Ask them first. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to keep going a little bit because I know we're running out of time here. It used electricity to generate electromagnetic field to spin the motor, although the Indian innovator Macaroni, I said Indian, it says Italian. No way, his name was Macaroni? How ironic. Anyways, okay, sent the first transatlantic radio signal in 1901 He had used 17 of Tesla's patents to do it. So even though he didn't create this radio signal, this transatlantic, he created a piece of it that they needed to make that. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. What your goal is to read each one of these paragraphs and find interesting facts about his inventions. You're going to focus on his inventions for the second paragraph. NT inventions. You may want to mention, like Kylie's suggesting doing, the mystery, or maybe AC/DC power. You can add these words here. So any questions about what your homework is for this week as far as what you're working on? Just one more paragraph is it? The second paragraph. You have quite a bit of work to do, but don't read the whole article. Look for those paragraphs that talk about his inventions. Focus on those paragraphs. It's best if you underline as you go, like we used to, you know, things that stand out about that. Like the 4 cents in his pocket. It's not really talking about his inventions, but that's what led him to Thomas Edison. So to me, I think that I would include that. Like here under A, because we just read this, 10 cents, I would put pocket. And then he had a recommendation. I'm going to put letter rec, REC. And then T for Thomas Edison. That's how I would do this. Even though this isn't particularly talking about a direct invention that he made, this led him to Thomas Edison, who then partnered with him with electricity, and that led into other things. So this is kind of a cool, interesting thought or fact about him. Kylie?
You said you were going to tell us like why we're writing only one paragraph. Or was I was?
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I do want to talk to you about that. Okay. That's your homework. Now, for the week after next. So oh, you have a question, Matt? Sorry.
It's 4 cents, not 10 cents, by the way. But 10 cents. And by the way, it's Marconi, not macaroni.
Man, I need to go back to coffee this morning. That's funny. I kept looking at that like macaroni.
I saw that too, Matt.
Did you? It's okay to correct me, guys. I'm not perfect. I love it, actually, when you correct me. Let's see, where was that? Oh, Marconi. I totally saw macaroni. Did anybody else see macaroni? It's just me. Maybe I'm hungry. Oh my gosh. I was like, how ironic. Okay, Marconi. Thank you. That's embarrassing. And 4 cents. You guys are funny. You're just like sitting there, like shaking your head, like, oh, that's Mrs. C. There she goes again. Okay, Kylie left. She had a question and she left. So the reason why we're only doing 2 paragraphs is next week, we're starting the next lesson, and you're going to choose a person in history, and you're going to do a little research paper. Okay. So it can be anybody, but the rule is that person has to be already dead. So nobody that's still alive. It could be any like athlete, president, past scientist or inventor or artist or any person in history that you can find quite a bit of information on. But the rule is they have to be dead already. So nobody's still living. And you're going to choose 3 articles from online about that person. Keep in mind, you're going to be looking for information that fits together, like about their early life. So you want to make sure all of your 3 sources from online have information about their early life, or about their legacy, or about if they're an inventor, about their inventions, or about their accomplishments. If they're a president, what did they accomplish? What did they do for the country? Or it could be from a different country. Okay. So I'm going to put this in Google Classroom so you know what to do. Aubrey?
How long does it have to be?
The paper about your person is going to be 3 paragraphs only. So, but I want you to just focus on getting the information. You don't have to start writing it yet. Does that make sense, Aubrey? Because this week you're writing the second paragraph for Tesla, and you're looking for your sources because we're thinking ahead, we're planning ahead. You want to find sources about someone in history that made an impact in our world. It doesn't necessarily have to be from an impact on our country, but it could be on the world, like Martin Luther King, for example, or a past pastor like Billy Graham. That would be a cool one to write about. Or an artist, a musician, or there's all kinds of stuff to choose from. So talk with your parents about it and see if they're okay if you brainstorm online and ask Google what's an interesting person in history that I can write about for my writing class. Sometimes I type stuff like that in there, but check with your parents before you go to Google and pick somebody and then find 3 articles. Now watch out for those articles because I don't want you to use Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not reliable, even though it's the first thing that'll pop up when you type in somebody's name. Wikipedia is always there. It's not reliable. So I will give you examples in Google Classroom of websites that are reliable, like biography.com, like National Geographic, like Britannica. I'll list those places where you can go to find information that's reliable. A good rule of thumb is and sit with your parents with this, okay? Because the internet can get a little crazy. But when you Google a name and you try out a website, if there's a bunch of ads on there, like how to lose weight in 2 minutes, silly stuff like that, that's not a reliable source. If there's a bunch of flashing ads coming up, don't choose that article. Articles that are just specific to, like biography.com, you'll see is about the person you're writing about, and that's it. So that's how you know some of those sites, that's how you determine if they're reliable. It's a rule of thumb. So make sure you check with your parents before Googling the name, and they can help you pick somebody and they can help you find those reliable sources. Okay. So you just need 3 and you're going to print them out. If you don't have a printer, go to somebody's house. You can borrow their printer. You got to have them on paper because we're going to work with it in class next week. I'll put all that in Google Classroom so you'll know what to do with that. Any last minute questions before you go? All right, you guys, have a good week. I'll see you next Monday or next Tuesday. Bye.